The deserved downfall of Mike.
If you've ever wanted to see someone's overinflated ego get crushed overnight, then there's no better example than what's happening to Mike Israetel right now. He went from raving about how he was the smartest person in the world.
I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter. Almost every coach, maybe every coach.
160 IQ, by the way.
With an outrageously high IQ.
Pegged at scale high. So you get every single question right. And so my IQ is above 160. We don't know how high because they don't do standardized IQ tests above that.
To having the documents that form
Like actually off the charts.
the foundation of his entire career be destroyed in a couple of days.
Instead,
I am a perfectionist asshole with a PhD. Yeah, hell yeah, that's why I say shit like that.
Dr. Mike, geez, that's a big deal. And I've noticed that carries a lot of weight.
you can't be a perfectionist with the level of mistakes in that PhD. Your most important body of work. What a clown world he must be living in.
Like all I feel is rage and frustration.
Dealing lasting damage to the glowing reputation he spent his entire life building. And at this point, he has no one to blame but himself. He could have avoided this entire controversy by coming clean to his audience, but his ego and arrogance prevented him from admitting any fault.
I guess technically I submitted the wrong draft to the graduate school. And so that's been, being rectified now. But yeah, my PhD was...
It wasn't the rough draft, though. I can't believe that was even his excuse in the first place.
One, as Jared Feather likes to say, 100% fine, which is a euphemism for it happened and it was okay.
And now he's on the verge of losing his status as one of the most respected fitness coaches in the world and turning into the laughing.
Do you think I'll ever be turned into a AI smoothed version of myself in a downfall video? Where I'm just bobbing side to side?
Stock of the internet. Hi, I'm the Internet Anarchist. I create weekly YouTube documentaries, and today we're diving into the monumental, embarrassing downfall of Mike Israetel. How his life's greatest achievement was exposed to be a sham, the horrible defense he prepared to try to reclaim it, and how, even after coming clean, he's still continuing to lie to everyone. But you know what I'll never lie about? Wanting you to subscribe, so hit that subscribe button and let's dive right into the video.
I was once told the suicide zone for IQ is around 130 to 160, smart enough but not a genius, slightly above a midwit but not original enough to strike out and be noteworthy. Many such cases. It's actually a trap. Millennials speak of this. The college educated.
To fully grasp why everyone in the fitness community is so mad at Mike Israetel, we have to understand how he rose to become such a leading authority in fitness in the first place. Mike developed his passion for fitness and bodybuilding.
This is why people recommend you retard max, because it's actually better to be lower on the IQ scale and just go with your gut instinct over pretending that you know it all in that 130 range.
During his high school days, when he joined the wrestling team, but not in the way you'd expect. It was actually...
Those are boxing gloves. You don't use those in wrestling.
His frustration with how wrestling was taught that pushed him towards training instead.
So from wrestling, how'd you get into bodybuilding? What was that transition?
So my wrestling experience wasn't actually great because I
feel like these animations are satanic.
through a bunch of different coaches, and they didn't they kind of used exercise as punishment for us. For some reason, it just didn't. I wasn't exercise.
Everything is breathing. The microphone is moving.
Addict in training, so I couldn't understand exercise as bad. I remember I had a philosophical realization early in wrestling where I was like, okay, if training makes us better, and we want to get better, wouldn't rewarding us with more training be more intelligent than punishing us with more training?
This passion turned into an obsession by the time he went to college, with him studying kinesiology at Michigan University and getting a master's from the Appalachian State University in exercise science. These qualifications would have been enough for him to easily bag a job as a trainer or even a professor.
That is a preposterous head shape. You think that's natty? Or he's on a head stack. Is this the result of GH and bone growth? Roid horns coming through? That is a thing that happens, right? Let's see. Roid horns. Growing horns from GH.
Of short cycles with growth hormone in my early 20s, personally. And I noticed a quick development of getting like a bump in the center top of my head.
Holy shit. He's right.
This Mike Israetel guy. So you sent
Yo, they're talking about it.
me like a very, thank you for the compilation, by the way. It was probably took you a while to get all this information together. So you have him from a young age all the way up to current, where he has this this blatant like split thing that you're referring to at the top there.
What's going on, guys? Josiah Brandon here, and today we're going to be discussing, are these top IFBB pros growing horns? So, more plates, more debates, aka
We found the perfect video to describe this phenomenon.
Hey, Derek. They were discussing how a lot of these guys take growth hormone, and that causes their bones, especially in their head and skulls, to continue to grow. So I wanted to look at some of the top competitors and evaluate, are these guys growing horns? So first off, let's look at Kai Green. So as they were talking about, we can see extreme definition right there in his forehead.
Yep, for sure.
All right, second on the list is Jay Cutler, and as we can see from this photo, once again, it looks like the front of his forehead has a little bit of extra growth. On the list, we have the great 8-time Olympian Ronnie Coleman, and we can see this might be a little bit more of a stretch. Again, on that side, he has a little bit extra growth, and his forehead is a little bit more rounded on top. And see if he had any of the horns, as you could say. And from looking at his photos, it looks like he has a pretty normal skull. Doesn't see any extra enlarged.
Skull maxing.
Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, share it.
So people are aware of this. The roid horns.
But Mike had his sights set on a bigger milestone, a doctorate. So he decided to enter into the sport physiology PhD program at East Tennessee State University. And after 3 years of rigorous academic research, he earned his doctorate in 2013 with the dissertation titled The Interrelationships of Fitness Characteristics in Division I Athletes, which compared a total of 80 Division I athletes across 4 sports on various factors, including strength, power,
Skill 1 plus skill 2 plus skill 3 equals athlete.
vertical jump height, and sprint speed. Once completed, the doctorate opened plenty of doors for Mike, allowing him to become a professor at Temple University in Philadelphia and the University of Central Missouri, teaching courses in sports and exercise science. However, Mike wanted to share his expertise with a wider audience, and so, with the help of his old college buddy, Nick Shaw, Mike launched Renaissance Periodization, an online science-based fitness coaching company later renamed to RP Strength. In an effort to boost marketing for his business, Mike also created the RP YouTube channel back in 2012, a decision that ended up changing his life forever. The channel started with fairly generic workout videos, but as he gained more of an audience, he started sharing his expertise in exercise science in these videos as well.
You see, I was never destined to make it in the fitness industry because I'm too tall. The meta is 5'4" to 5'6". Anything bigger than that, not gonna make it.
Well,
Minimum effective volume is a little tough to estimate formally because we have a book, How Much Should I Train? It's about the training landmarks on renaissanceperiodization.com. It gets very technical about how to find your MEV, and really finding a minimum effective volume means analyzing an entire several mesocycles of training where you intentionally train with as little volume as possible and seeing which volume finally results in no growth. So like if you grow 14 sets per week, great. If you take it down to 11 sets per week and you still grow, great. That's definitely 14 was not your minimum effective because you're growing from 11.
and because this level of credibility was a rarity in fitness content at the time, it resulted in more and more people gravitating towards his
Isn't Larry Wheels tall? No, I would mog him.
content. Both beginners and even seasoned pros started seeing him as the foremost fitness authority on the internet. But above all, what really set Mike apart was his confidence in his
Greg Doucette is 3 feet 5. Jeff Nippard is 2 feet 11. Mike Israetel is 4'1".
own ability and teachings. So much so that he even critiqued some of the greatest physiques in the world, like Ronnie Coleman, the 8-time Mr. Olympia.
But it pays to remember that Ronnie didn't grow basically any muscle like this.
This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Because what he's doing is inserting himself as the authority, right, with his PhD, the appeal to authority fallacy, and critiquing the people that actually did it. Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia world champion, longest running streak, the most successful bodybuilder in the sport ever. But then the exercise scientist comes along and said, he actually would have been bigger if he trained like this instead of that. No, he wouldn't have.
He grew it doing more conventional things like squats for sets of 8, sets of 10, hack squats, leg presses, often with a very large range of motion, and multiple sets of those kind of moderate reps. That's how you build muscle. That's how Ronnie did it. That's how Grandma did it. That's how Grandpa did it. That's how you're going to do it. This sets of 2 and sets of 4 and the squat and the deadlift that Ronnie's really, really well known for, you can file this under just for swag. Like, this is just living life and being the f***ing man.
Yeah, this doesn't build any muscle. What a dog shit fucking take.
Confidence like that, coupled with his seemingly more intelligent fitness advice, grew RP to over 3.8 million subscribers. And with RP's success came more success for Mike himself. His label as an exercise scientist, along with the monumental growth of his channel,
Bro doesn't have a pro card,
earned him invitations to some of the biggest podcasts on YouTube. This success continued with the success of his fitness mobile apps and books, all of which reinforced the idea of him being one of the best fitness
You know
experts.
what's crazy? It's called Renaissance periodization. When I think of the Renaissance, I'm thinking of the Renaissance man, the multi-talented, highly competent artist, warrior, philosopher, painter, king. There's nothing about this that is revolutionary. It's not a renaissance. If anything, it's the Dark Ages. It's stagnation. Bro can't broad jump more than 2 feet. Can't run half a mile under an 11-minute pace. Absolutely diabolical display of athletic endeavors
in the world. However, once you're at the top, often the only way forward is down, which is exactly what happened
I'm thinking of Da Vinci, not Mike Israetel.
when Mike became the target of criticism from another popular fitness expert on YouTube, Greg Doucette. The drama started on the 5th of December 2019, when Greg uploaded a video titled, Jeff Nippard vs. Jeff Cavalier. Is volume killing your gains? In it, Greg criticized Jeff Nippard's science-based approach to building
Look how uncanny these AI versions of these people look. Why is this the meta? Why do people edit like this?
muscle, and called it the wrong way to work out, arguing that the average person is better off simply working as hard as they could.
People are lazy, people don't train hard, and so to tell someone to hold back when they're already holding back is moronic and asinine. Tell them, work harder. How hard? Harder than you worked.
Now, this video didn't have anything to do with Mike, but being a science-based lifter as well, he was asked about his thoughts on Greg's video, and he did not hold back.
Dude, if I have to see any more footage of AI Mike Israetel's oscillating head that looks like a ball sack, I'm gonna crash out.
I'm pretty sure I saw the entire video by Greg. He never actually answers the question of how much. He just says, go harder, and he yells a lot, which is funny. But it's precious little to learn from that other than go hard. And he may have very, very good critique that people just need to train harder because they're straight bitches out here. And they may very well be true. Some people it's true, some people it's not. But it's definitely true.
Mustache Mike kind of goes hard. He looks a lot younger here.
For a lot of people. But even once you know, okay, I'm fucking training hard, do you do 3 hard sets? Do you do 6? Do you do 9?
Greg, however, wasn't convinced by Mike's take, and just 3 days after this interview, he posted another video, this time
Yeah, it looks like he turns off his body cam.
directly challenging Mike's views.
2 things. Thing number 1 is that coming close to failure, about 2 or 3 reps away, if you take the net balance of the evidence, doesn't seem to provide any more stimulus than going all the way to failure. So the argument of going all the way to failure sort of falls apart right there.
2 to 3 reps
IFBB Pro, by the way. Mike's worst nightmare.
shy of failure is close to failure. Come on, no it's not. 2 to 3 reps shy of failure is a warm-up set for this.
See, there used to be a spark and joy behind his eyes. Now it's just Turk. The demon has taken over.
Boy, I don't train like a pussy.
Greg argued that Mike's comments would be misunderstood by people to mean that they should take it even easier in the gym than they already do. And despite his explosive delivery, there were many that agreed with him, with comments like, I'm heading back to the gym, I definitely didn't train harder this morning. Nobody inspires me like you do, Greg, mad respect for you. And "You are such a legend. I agree with every single word. I love your approach to training." Noticing this, Mike decided to take Greg on in a face-to-face debate on the 18th of
If you're not blasting Turk Platinum, at least you're not going to make it.
December 2019, hoping to prove him wrong. But unfortunately for Mike, this backfired big time. An important point to note here is that Greg didn't bring his loud persona to the debate with him. He patiently listened to everything Mike said and then offered a respectful rebuttal, which looked like it caught Mike off guard, who appeared disinterested and was even caught yawning throughout their back and forth.
You got mogged in the debate.
As for the debate itself, neither of them budged from their stances and ended up disagreeing at every turn, even on things as simple as the definition of training volume.
The concept Greg is defining is called mathematical volume. It's when you do all the multiplication, sets times reps times weight times distance. And that's a very, very good concept, but I think slightly one that does a little bit more for us in training is talking about the number of hard sets that you're doing, because the number of hard sets, as you do, anything from 5 to 30 reps, roughly close to failure, it's a roughly effective as far as hypertrophy for all the rep ranges within there, because as the weight goes up,
Hard sets versus total volume.
the per repetition stimulus for hypertrophy goes up, but also you have fewer repetitions.
This is exactly where I shine. In the corner, watching men. Selling soap, which is why you should go to usecheeky.com/Philion. Cheeky is the soap with silly names but serious sense, and I'm super excited about this month's drop because it's packing a punch with my favorite fragrances. This right here is Sunday Scaries. Just in time for Halloween, you can be smelling like vanilla ice cream and with added grit for exfoliation. This way, you're silky, soft, and smooth headed into those winter months. I love Cheeky because they make soap the old-fashioned way. This bar right here undergoes a cold process that ensures no harsh chemicals irritate your skin. Ever since I started using Cheeky, people smell me before they see me, and that's a good thing. It means you have aura. Cheeky also just collabed with Chainsaw Man, but that sold out in 3.4 nanoseconds. So you're going to want to go to usecheeky.com, look for the restocks, and get yourself the new scent known as Sunday Scaries. It's time to wash off that gamer grease and head to usecheeky.com/Philion to get 10% off today. And thank you to Cheeky for sponsoring this video.
However, for most of the people watching, there was a clear winner: Greg, with many people getting put off by Mike's standoffish and disinterested attitude. As the top comment under this video stated, Greg left his ego at the door for this one, Mike didn't. What none of the viewers knew at the time was that this was nothing more than a teaser for Mike's "I'm right about everything" attitude.
This is where the mask began to slip.
The downward spiral began in mid-2020.
The deserved downfall of Philion, from making documentaries to watching buff men and selling soap in the basement.
3, when Mike announced that he'd be getting back into competitive bodybuilding.
What are these tattoos? A gear icon and money. You cannot make this up.
To get his IFBB Pro card. Unfortunately, going pro requires the use of steroids, something Mike knew as well. But given his PhD in fitness, people expected him to know how to use them safely. But even if he wasn't
This is like an engineer debate against the mechanic. A mechanic is in the trenches doing the work, and engineer is behind a computer. It's a good metaphor.
To regulate his usage and escape their nasty side effects.
Anxiety like you would not believe. Every day that I'm on high doses, I wake up
Hey, it's Dr. Mike and Michael.
in the morning afraid of the rest of my day. All I feel is rage and frustration and anger and anxiety. Externally, I'm like, hello. But internally, I'm like, say something. Let's get this party started. I don't want to live like that. It's terrible. What's that called? Intrusive thoughts.
I want to see his jujitsu moves, because the one time he was about to display it, he just trolled everyone in that Jesse James West video. I remember. I'm in the trenches with the boys on kick.com/Philion on a daily basis, streaming every single day, except for the days that I don't want to.
I think about violence all the time.
This is when Greg picked up Mike's story on his channel once again, and started uploading videos urging Mike to stop pursuing his dream of going pro at the risk of his health.
I have severe anxiety disorder.
What this is a sign of is some form of a chronic illness. This is not good. It's not healthy. And
Yo, he's calling out the clubbed fingers. That's crazy. You got soft hands there, boy.
somebody with all of these health markers combined probably shouldn't be competing. Why is Mike risking his health, risking his life in order to get up on stage?
Though
He has zero skills at that too. That's my only inclination.
this seemingly genuine concern was also topped off by Greg's signature rage bait roast sessions.
Let's see how those methods actually work, you know, in the real world.
Thank you, Greg.
Is he,
Has Greg Doucette and Mike Israetel ever worked out together?
in fact, the master trainer that you believe? The master dieter? Or is he just the master baiter? Did he just work on a lobster ship like Coach Greg?
A lobster ship?
And is, in fact, the master baiter?
This continued to July 2024, when Mike announced that he was stepping
Could you
away
imagine getting rage baited by slop tent created by a 40-year-old man? Sorry, 50-year-old man?
from competitive bodybuilding after doing poorly in a competition due to insufficient tanning, something Greg called him out on as well.
After getting into objectively the best shape of my life, I placed out of the top 5 at my most recent show. In large part, sort of hilariously,
I didn't know that he unironically said he lost because of insufficient tanning. I thought it was just like a off-the-cuff comment maybe one time. No, he actually made a post and claimed soberly that he lost because of insufficient tanning.
because of insufficient tanning. It wasn't the tan. It wasn't the tan. I'm sorry, telling you what you need to hear,
This is my sleep paralysis demon.
not what you want to hear. Yeah, I get it. A tan can help accentuate the definition. But if you're off, if you're soft, if you have 10 pounds to lose, tan can't offset that.
For Mike, who was already frustrated from not being able to achieve his goal, this was his last straw. He had finally had enough. So, in an interview with Mike Telander in October 2024 titled, Why Mike Israetel Hates Greg Doucette, he decided to clap back in the most explosive way possible.
Back in the day on Omar Isuf's channel with Greg Doucette, who is a two-faced lying sociopath sucker.
He then went on to explain how Greg tricked him and made him look bad during their first debate.
He talked mad in his videos with his fake voice about how stupid I was and how wrong I was about volume or whatever it was about. And I was like, oh, this guy wants a shot at the title. So when we got face to face in a debate, I mirrored that energy. And he turned off his parrot voice.
That's hilarious. The 160 IQ mega genius got duped, got tricked, got bamboozled. He got famoosed.
And went straight into nice guy agreeable mode. And almost all the
Well, I
comments
think that's his real personality. He was probably given a chance to talk to you, and he turned off the character.
were like, oh my god, this Mike guy's a asshole. And this Greg guy just came to the conversation to try to learn. No, he didn't. He's trying to learn shit.
Now, many of Mike's
It was a tactical nice guy maneuver? I don't know.
fans praised him for putting Greg in his place. However,
Yeah, he got one-shotted by the parrot to nice guy pipeline.
what none of them expected was how Mike would continue doubling down on this newfound attitude. After that point, Mike seemed to adopt a no one is better than me attitude. He constantly claimed that he was smarter than every other coach,
I'm both on a raw IQ scale smarter than...
Got baited and turked. Platinum style.
almost every coach,
Should've got a tan.
maybe every coach. And I know
Bro thinks Greg is a puppet master.
more about physiology, body responses, etc. than they do in most cases.
had an IQ of above 160,
I've taken the Ravens Advanced Progressive Matrices test, and I pegged it scale high. So you get every single question right, and so my IQ is above 160. We don't know how high because they don't do standardized IQ tests above that.
which again made him better than almost everyone else.
And also in every category of human behavior, I'm tougher than you. I can train closer to failure than you. I can do it for longer. I have more willpower than you. I'm just
Can't run a mile without dying.
better than you, Lyle.
And claimed that no one could challenge his methods since no one knew more about fitness than him.
And if you think you know, you are presuming you know more than me.
about the thing I'm one of the top experts in the world in, and also the thing I'm literally involved in myself. So whatever ideas you have about how I can improve, just right off.
This egotistical and brash attitude rubbed many of
Why does he look insane?
his supporters the wrong way, with them stating things like, ego is why he hasn't come in shredded at a show. Wow. And Mike has accomplished a lot with YouTube and RP. I do think he is knowledgeable about training, but it cracks me up by how much Mike thinks of himself when it comes to bodybuilding. He knows his body better than
What the fuck is this head shape? I told you, it's the roid horns.
anyone else, yet he has been out of shape at every show. Him doubling down on his credentials also made some take a closer look at Dr. Mike's PhD thesis, just to see if he was actually as credible and intelligent as he claimed to be, and what they found was shocking to say the least. The first to properly review and present his findings about Mike's thesis was a YouTuber named Solomon Nelson, who posted a video on the 29th of
Solomon Nelson.
September 2025 titled, Mike Israetel's PhD, the biggest academic sham in fitness. And as you might be able to judge from the title, he didn't have any good things to say about it, with him going as far as to call his entire thesis shallow, sloppy, and confused.
So naturally, when I got my hands on Mike Israetel's PhD thesis, I expected a masterwork, an intellectual tour de force. Instead,
I'm a perfectionist asshole with a PhD. Yeah, hell yeah, that's why I say Dr. Mike. Jeez, that's a big deal. And I've noticed that carries a lot of weight. Like all I feel is rage.
I'm just laughing because there's no other sphere of social media that is this troll slash lol cow. I mean, like, no other group comes close to the memes and jokes.
And frustration.
What I got was a document so sloppy, shallow, and confused, it could only pass in a system that had
All I feel is rage.
already failed.
For those who don't know, for a PhD thesis to be accepted, the researcher has to offer a significant contribution of knowledge to the field they're working in, and in Mike's case, he completely failed to do that. In fact, all his thesis boiled down to him proving what was already well known at the time.
The stated goal of Mike's thesis was to explore interrelationships among fitness variables that he claimed were less clear in the existing literature.
More muscle, leaner? Run faster, jump higher.
However, the core findings, that stronger athletes are more muscular and powerful, that more powerful athletes jump higher and sprint faster, and that leaner athletes perform better in these tasks, are not only unsurprising, but also extensively documented in prior research, even by 2013.
As a commenter puts it, people who are more fit are more athletic. Dr. Mike, PhD. But what's ironic is that not even Mike believed any of his findings were original, which is evident from him mentioning and citing multiple
You should do a PhD on tanning and bodybuilding.
studies that had already proven these same findings in his paper.
For instance, in Chapter 3, Mike explicitly notes that the finding that stronger athletes produce higher rates of force development has been previously well supported in the literature.
Alright, that's pretty groundbreaking to me.
And that the finding of higher power generating abilities being associated with stronger athletes is well supported by previous data.
But that was just the tip of the iceberg, because while not being able to come up with a significant contribution is bad enough, not being able to clearly state the results you've achieved, one of the core skills PhD students learn, is even worse.
Across the thesis, Mike presents impossible and contradictory data, inflates simple points with jargon, and allows hundreds of basic grammatical, typographical, and formatting errors to remain uncorrected.
He makes careless data entry mistakes in almost every single table in
And even worse, his defense was botched, and he sponsored a podcast to glaze him.
a study, which turned what should be fairly normal values into something that makes little sense.
Report that for the 20 lowest performers, the mean body masses were 73.9 kilos and 75.3 kilos respectively, with standard deviations of 71.8 kilos. virtually equal to the mean.
What do you mean a baby cannot bench the bar?
Themselves. This is a statistical absurdity. Standard deviation measures the spread of the data around the mean. A standard deviation this large, relative to the mean, is nonsensical in a biological context. For this to be true, given a normal distribution, it would mean that roughly 1/3 of the lowest performing athletes in Table 4.6 had a body mass either greater than 145.7 kilos.
This picture single-handedly destroyed his reputation. I'm pretty sure this was post-Blood Eagle surgery as well. This was like the inflammation and bloating.
Or less than 2.1 kilos. The weight of a newborn.
This prompted Solomon to dive deeper, and what he found made Mike look like even more of an incompetent fraud.
These are numbers so
Has the school made any comment about this, or are they just sweeping under the rug? I don't think they give a fuck.
Fundamentally wrong, that they could only result from incompetent data entry.
Mike on a podcast said Turk doesn't work, then goes on to shill his friend's Turk supplements 5 minutes later.
Which is exactly what's happened here. Mike appears to have simply copied the mean figures of the highest...
I guess I underestimate the naivety of most fitness content enthusiasts that will just like buy turkesterone. Like just take gas station boner pills for the swing at more muscle. For the off chance it increases their bench by 3 pounds. Like what? Guys, it's so simple, okay? Lift weights. Eat food. Number go up, good. Number go down, go back to lifting weights and eating more food.
Performers, and pasted them as the standard deviations of the lowest performers. To have made this mistake just once would be damning enough.
Turk is good, but it can give you a parrot voice as a side effect. See, I'm not willing to take that chance.
But Mike makes this exact same error in 3 separate tables.
Like everyone just wants to buy the magic bullet. I should probably tap into that. I have to realize, with my 130 midwit IQ, that I could just sell people the solutions to their imaginary problems. Or I could take advantage of their vices, like gambling, gooning, and drugs.
These mistakes invalidate the entire tables and any conclusions drawn from them.
His habit of lazily copy-pasting content didn't end there either, as he continued doing so throughout chapters 3, 4, and 5, often without even checking for typos.
The methods section in chapters 4 and 5 are near verbatim clones of those in chapter 3, reproducing the exact same typos, the exact same formatting mistakes, and the exact same structural oversights, of which there are many, which is strong evidence that large portions of the thesis were duplicated wholesale without even a cursory proofread.
In some places, he even copy-pasted the same section twice, and somehow both his supervisor and examiner missed it.
Mike doesn't just copy-paste across chapters, he even does it within them. On page 74, the exact same passage appears twice in a...
The only fitness influencer I'm watching is Toji at this point, bro. He's real and true, no lying about shit, just raw. No, he's definitely lying about his gambling. He's just sponsored by the company, never actually losing any of his own money. But to each their own.
Bro, verbatim.
Then there's the nonsensical jargon that only makes him look worse.
Mike's tendency to overcomplicate sometimes backfires. Consider page 14, where Mike defines fitness characteristics as theoretical constructs that obviate the input of any sport-specific technique or
look at his head!
Psychological variables. Not only is this phrasing clumsy, obviate the input is nonsensical in this context. To obviate means to make unnecessary, or to avoid, or prevent. But Mike misuses it here to mean something like exclude consideration of.
There were literally dozens upon dozens of errors Solomon pointed out in his video, including basic spelling errors and typos.
Basic spelling errors are everywhere. Mike misspells the word vertical as vetical or vetrical, individual as invididual.
The same word being misspelled 2 different ways is diabolical.
Properties as propertites, biomechanics as biomechanins, neural as neural, training as traininige,
Train a what? Oh, hold on.
Neural, training as traininige,
Train a who? Solomon with the pass. Nitpicking typos is gay? Sure, but there's hundreds of them. So it's not really nitpicking.
science as sense, as already noted, and exercise as...
There's just no excuses for spelling mistakes when the program autocorrects it for you.
exercise or exercise.
Forgetting that the spacebar exists.
Perhaps the most common mechanical failure in the thesis is Mike's inability.
Like, if you're going to operate on a PhD level of intelligence, you would think that formatting and spelling mistakes would have been ironed out along your journey to the top.
Or refusal to press the spacebar. Missing spaces between words and after punctuation are so frequent, it's as if the spacebar was rationed.
I have Vietnam flashbacks of the red squiggly underline on like Microsoft Word 2003. So spell check was definitely invented by 2013.
They're everywhere. And by the time you encounter the 100th instance, you're no longer wondering how they slipped through. You're wondering if Mike's keyboard was partially submerged in cement.
Reversing the order of a page citation.
One reference alone, Cormier et al. 2010C, manages to misspell science as sense, list a physically impossible page range, implying that the article ends before it begins, it omits necessary spacing after punctuation, and it inserts a comma before the final period for good measure. This exact citation appears uncorrected on pages 52, 78, and 109.
And distorting or misrepresenting the works he cited to prove his point.
On page 13, Mike makes two assertions to frame his study.
Let me check how Solomon Nelson's doing. I want to see the performance of his former client video. 1.4 mil and 650K. Huge.
First, that the research on technique and fitness characteristics variables is much less unified than research on psychological variables. And second, that there is very little information on the fitness characteristic differences between athletes of differing capability. For both claims, he cites two sources, Bomper and Half 2010 and a book chapter by his supervisor Mike Stone, because an examination of these sources reveals that they don't support Mike's assertions. Starting with Bomper and Half 2010, Periodization, Theory and Methodology of Training, as the title would suggest,
it has definitely exposed that PhDs are worse than we even thought and not worth a single damn in most cases without other proof of experience and expertise. That's right. It seems like it's just bureaucratic nonsense.
It's a book about the long-term cyclical structure of training. It doesn't contain any statement or analysis comparing the relative unity of research across the psychological, technical, and fitness characteristics.
You're just never gonna beat real-world experience in the trenches
of athletes. Citing it here is irrelevant at best and misleading at worst.
That said, the blame for this awful thesis can't fall entirely on Mike. It should have never made it past his supervisor, let alone the examination committee at East Tennessee State. The fact that it did doesn't just make the university look bad, it reflects poorly on the entire field of exercise science. As one commenter puts it, I have a PhD in exercise science, and now I am a professor. And I can tell you, this isn't a Mike Israetel problem, it's the entire field problem. I have seen far worse dissertations pass, even at big universities.
I feel like it's just a filler major, like exercise science. Bro lifters and meatheads have figured this shit out.
However, regardless of who's to blame, for Mike it casts doubt on every claim he's ever made about his understanding of exercise science. As a comment under Solomon's video eloquently puts it, Mike's entire thesis can be summarized as error 1 plus error 2 plus error 3 plus error n equals Mike's published thesis. That said, as disastrous as Mike's thesis was, it was his response to the situation that buried any chance of things ending well for him. It started with Mike restricting access to his PhD thesis to only alumni and students of East Tennessee State, effectively trying to hide the evidence. And then came the excuse, claiming,
Personally, I know someone who majored in undergrad in exercise science and they've never touched a weight in their entire life. Like, huh? You don't even work out.
that the PhD thesis Solomon reviewed was the first draft, not the final version. Maybe he was hoping this would make Solomon take down his video, but when that didn't work, he continued doubling down, and showed up on camera to make his point once again. However, he didn't post about it on his own channel like he should've, and instead addressed the matter on Dr. Milo Wall's channel, someone who's been a longtime friend of Mike's. This was another red flag.
This is called nepotism.
Suggesting that he might have been trying to keep the controversy out of sight from most of his audience. In a video titled Dr. Mike Responds, The Truth About His PhD, Dr. Milo took it upon himself to clear Mike's name. He repeated the point about Solomon,
except he cataclysmically fumbled the bag here and defended him over something that was not even true, because it wasn't a rough draft.
When reviewing an earlier draft and not the final thesis, and that Mike had actually sent Milo the final draft, which was free of all the errors that Solomon had critiqued.
I need to make one thing very clear. The version of Mike's dissertation I've reviewed is a much later draft. This is the document Mike himself saved, defended, and sent to me, and it corrects many of the typos and inconsistencies that Solomon highlighted in his video, through no one's fault in particular, and that appears to be the version Solomon accessed. But one thing is certain. The document Solomon reacted to was not the latest version that was actually examined and passed.
Yes, it was.
And that's the smoking gun. If there's one thing universities never get wrong, it's the name of their own department. In other words, Solomon wasn't even reviewing the defended, archived dissertation.
The video also included an interview with Mike where he took some responsibility.
Dude, I'm gonna have nightmares. Look at these AI renditions of them.
For uploading the wrong draft.
The whole video.
To the university's database.
We now know Solomon was looking at an accidentally uploaded incorrect rough draft. So I'll say this, I don't blame him for going hard on it, because he has every reasonable idea to think this.
I wish I had homies that would defend and glaze me this much. So true.
Was the final draft. It wasn't. We have the final draft now in the link here. And so most of his critiques are just non-starters because the final just doesn't have most of those problems.
Milo then ended the video by hinting at Solomon not being the best judge of Mike's thesis, since he's been quite biased against Mike in many of his other videos.
And when you look at the broader context, the pattern becomes clear. To date, Solomon has made more than 10 videos.
Oh, this is the economic incentive here, which goes out the fucking window because you did the exact same thing. And YouTube is for profit. What is this, a charity?
About Mike. That's over 13 hours of content targeting a single person. Topics range from 2-hour collaborations critiquing Mike's bodybuilding performance to hour-long reactions to his surgery, to videos like this one attacking his academic record. A quick look at his views on videos where he features Mike versus his non-Mike content shows an enormous discrepancy in his views. When one person becomes your channel's most reliable source of outrage, views, and income, it raises the question of motive.
Unfortunately for Milo, and especially Mike, people did not buy any of it, with commenters stating, "How exactly can that paper be in the official university database and only be the first draft? Makes no sense. No one puts drafts in official databases."
That defense would work if the audience was retarded.
The moment you said that, I knew it was just lies meant to cover your friend and nothing more. Trust me bro, an earlier draft was published in multiple official locations bro. Here is a Google Drive link to the final version with the metadata stripped bro. I totally wrote this version in 2000.
Was the metadata actually stripped on the updated version?
13 bro. I would never feed my original into a large context AI window and frantically edit it to try and fool you bro. And as many people looked into it, it didn't take long for them to find proof debunking their entire defense. Like how the paper that Milo presented as the final version was dated March 2013, whereas Solomon's version was dated August 2013. To add to that, a viewer was also able to catch an edit made by ETSU, most likely short for East Tennessee State University, on the 3rd of October 2025, despite Milo claiming that Mike had never even watched Solomon's video.
For context, Mike hasn't even watched Solomon's video. He doesn't respond to this kind of content as a matter of principle.
Yeah, he's above it. He's way too cool for it.
But the real kicker was that the Google Doc linked in the video's description as the final version wasn't owned by Milo or Mike. Instead, the owner was listed as Pipix Contenido at gmail.com, which turned out to be a digital marketing agency. Along with this clear evidence of the document being tampered with, there were plenty of other instances
What? I didn't know that.
In the video that raised some eyebrows, like both Mike and Milo downplaying the value of a PhD.
And so the PhD isn't some kind of proof of your superiority.
That's insane because he's used it as proof of his superiority for years.
Step one in an academic research career, which most people don't even end up taking. That's my PhD. It's a mediocre step one to giving me a PhD, and not much more than that. Never claimed that it was much more than that.
Mike trying to deflect from the real issue.
I just want to be really clear about something. This is very, very important that people tune in. I had many conversations with Stephen Hawking himself when him and I were in the waiting room at Epstein's Island. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but he was really excited to be there. He just wanted to talk physics.
And even trying to laugh at the situation.
I guess technically I submitted the wrong draft to the graduate school.
Oops.
And so that's been, being rectified now. But yeah, my PhD was as Jared Feather likes to say, 100% fine, which is a euphemism for it happened and it was okay.
I'm a doctor. It's kind of a big fucking deal. This is PhD approved.
The backlash from these findings forced Mike to switch from defense to damage control, admitting that, quote, the dissertation Solomon examined was indeed the correct document, but once again downplayed his critiques by labeling them as clerical errors, which only included a misplaced negative sign on a few correlations and a table pasting misalignment repeated across 3 tables. Unsurprisingly, most of the comments on that post flat out refused to believe a word Mike was saying. But what is surprising is
he's only the smartest, foremost expert in exercise science. It's just not a big deal, guys.
That, at least for now, he seems to have come out of the controversy completely unscathed. Not only has his channel avoided losing subscribers, it's actually gained some. His strategy of not addressing the matter on his main channel seemed to have worked exactly as planned. Not to mention, the viewers who consider this whole thing to
lesson in there. Just ignore all the hate.
Be nothing more than pointless
chat. Post through it.
Internet drama. However, while Mike's numbers will likely remain intact for the time being, this controversy will leave a lasting mark on his reputation and legacy, especially after how he tried to discredit Solomon and even threw his friend Milo under the bus. All he had to do was own up to the mistakes he made 12 years ago, but with how he reacted, these mistakes are now likely to follow.
It's not what you do, chat. It's how you react. This is free ball knowledge from the Third Eye of Truth over on kick.com/Philion.
Him for the rest of his career, giving people ammunition to discredit him whenever they want. That said, this is still a developing situation and there could be updates in the future.
Internet moves on so fast, takes 2 weeks, takes 2 days, and then it's like it never happened at all.